Thank you.
I thought we would talk about teaching. I know that some of us have taught. So first of all, I thought very beginning I would talk about name tags, because I always forget.
Oh, good.
Now when I teach, I really like to have children named, and it's very difficult to get name tags in schools.
Right.
So I take a roll of masking tape with me, and it does two things. It labels them, but then when they finish the basket, you use the name tape to put in the basket. Because very often they keep the baskets in the school and they don't take them home until they've got a whole shelf.
Great idea.
So I have found this is just such a good idea. If I ask the teachers to name them, they usually forget. And they have pins, and it's all very difficult. So I know this isn't very beautiful, but and it's very good because if someone's being bad, you can say, "Come here, John," or "Sit down, Betty."
Right.
You know, if you don't, or you can't say, "What's your name?" or you know. So names are important, and I usually call myself Anchoret so they know who I am. Anyway, that's just a little beside the thing, but it does help. And I think it's something that you can very easily forget, and then when you get there you think, oh, you know.
Right.
So that's names. Now, first of all, when I go into the class, I usually ask them if anybody's made a basket, and if they know anything about baskets, you don't know anybody who's got baskets, you use baskets. Because we are promoting as well as teaching.
Yeah.
And I think it's really nice for the kids to know that we did use baskets in the past, and that they had a lot of uses. And then I take a few baskets, and I haven't got a birchbark basket yet. But I do take a couple of baskets, and I sort of show them something, and we can have some. And I say this is made of willow, and it grows in the hedges. And in the old days, everybody had to make their baskets, so they didn't have, that sort of thing. I talk about a little bit about using the bark off the trees. And you could make baskets using that. And I'm sorry, we're not using natural materials. And then I take a little cedar basket and I say you can use cedar bark, or you can use pine needles. And sometimes I don't really smell. I used to make them guess what this was, but it doesn't smell anymore. Now it's a bit old. But it's just fun, so that there's a little bit of an introduction to basket making. And I also tell them that what we're using we don't grow it in this country. Our country doesn't grow this, and it's called round reed. And it comes from the hot, steamy jungles, and they cut it down. It's rather like using a 2x4 because it's been cut down, it's been processed. So it's a natural material, but it doesn't grow anything like this. So they all know what it's like. And then I think I sometimes ask if they've got any ideas of baskets. Sometimes they've made baskets with bits of paper. But it's just a sort of introduction to find out about basketry. And then I talk about the baskets that we're going to make. These are very old baskets. Now, actually, I just made this one the other day. It looks rather grand. My baskets usually look rather neat and tidy compared to theirs, so I don't want to put them off. But we can usually make 3 different sorts. Either one that goes straight up, and the little girls usually all make rather pretty little ones. The boys like making ones that go in, and quite often we have ones that flow out like fruit bowls. And I often say, would you like to choose? Because quite often by that time, quite a lot of people have made baskets. And so I like to have the concept that they might like to choose what they want to make. And whether they would like one with a handle or they'd like one like this. And so at least I'm just saying this is what we do. They have a choice. And they also have a choice about colour. And we'll talk about this in a minute, but I dye this, and it's usually pretty chaotic. I hang it all up and it's wet. And I haven't wet this yet. But first of all, I thought I'd talk to you about how I get it and what I do with it. This is how it comes. And it used to come in lovely long straight lines with just one bend, which was heaven. Now they curl it all up into stuff, and it's horrible to use. It's like a curly thing, which is much more difficult. Now this is as it comes, and this will be a weaver. It comes in different sizes. The thicker it is, the larger the name, and the very thickest is what I call number 8. I'm not quite sure they call it now. Different manufacturers call it different size numbers, but this is handle material, and you can see how very thick it is. Now you might see there's lovely colours, but my friend Melinda in Toronto, who was a great pal of mine, used to make baskets for a long time. And when I talked to her about supplies, she said, Anchoret, I'll send you all the stuff I'm not using. So this is thanks to Melinda.
She sent it all.
She's a huge package, and the only thing is Melinda's material is rather thick. And you'll see it is quite thick compared to what I usually use for a weaver, which is this. So we'll have to see how it goes.
And where would Melinda get it?
Well,
Where would
she's
she
had
buy
it for a long time.
Did she
I
get it?
got it from the supplier who's in Niagara Falls.
I see.
And I ordered it. But he doesn't use the same measurement. We used to have number 2 and number 3.
I see.
I ordered number what I thought was number 2.
There's also a place in Almont called Be Seated.
Does he sell baskets?
Yes, he does.
Oh, good.
Oh.
In Almont.
So for caning, for chair caning.
Well, the thing is, you need probably the 2.5 measurement rather than the 3 millimeter, 2.5 millimeters. But anyway, I got it from my friend in Niagara. It'd be interesting to know how they compare it.
Right.
But if we can do it in Almont, we wouldn't have to do the shipping. But
So are you saying you don't think what you have is going to be enough for what we're...
No, I don't think so. It depends how many we do.
Right.
This is rather thick for the children to weave.
And you actually dyed this yourself?
No, she dyed.
She dyed it, okay.
This is the thick stuff. She sent
Yeah, that's for handles. Yeah.
And she sent me this too. I dyed this. The one I usually use is this one.
Right.
And this size.
Yeah.
For the weavers. But we've got so much of this that we'll use it.
We should try
But we
it.
won't use it until we go up the sides. Yeah.
Until we what?
Go up
Go
the
up the
sides.
sides. We won't use it at the bottom
Okay.
because it's more difficult and it's a little bit thick. We'll have to see how it goes. I've never used such thick stuff. But Melinda has sent me so much. The green.
Wouldn't it be good for steaks since it's so thick?
Well, the steaks is another thing. So for the steaks, I'll just keep this separate from that. For the steaks, I use a thicker one, and I have put it on the label because people will get muddled up. That's the first weaver, which is not the steak. I'll get that in a minute. This is the steak, and this is quite a thick one. Now these ones get cut, and we cut them before I go into the classroom. I have all these cut ready, and I don't make them wet because if you put a wet one through a styrofoam cup, it makes the most awful squeaks, which amuses them enormously.
Yeah.
But drove me up the wall.
Yeah.
And you've lost attention.
Awful squeaks. So you don't wet the steaks. Now this is contrary to most basket tins. Usually you work it wet.
Yeah.
But we use it dry until we're ready to bend it up.
Right.
And we don't wet it. So for each basket and each child, I cut a whole lot and I get them ready before. Now I have actually written on here.
And put them in a bundle
Yeah.
for each kid, yeah.
I keep them, and I sort of bundle them up so I'm organised. This actually is the steak, and this is the thick stuff. I did this to show you. Now, when we start off our basket, we started on a styrofoam cup. And the idea of this is that when you start a basket, it's very hard to get everything together
Yeah.
and go round. It's very hard for kids.
Yeah.
And I invented this
Yeah.
because it was a good start.
Because their hands are too small,
Yeah.
is that it?
Now, I usually hand them a cup, and I've made the holes round it.
Right.
And I hand them 5 steaks, and they have to poke it through. You can all do it. And then we need an odd number of steaks. So I don't give them the short steak. I give them first of all 5, and they go from one side to the other.
5 long steaks.
5 long steaks. And then they say, oh, there's whole left. And I say, yes, there is. And when everybody has done it, I produce the last one, which is a short one. And they poke it in the remaining hole, and it comes out opposite another hole. So that actually, have I got it here? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. It's somewhere in here.
So you've got to
Oh,
have
there it
12
is.
holes then.
No, 11.
Oh, because
It comes
the
out
final
with
one just
somebody
goes
else.
out one. Oh, I see. Okay,
So we
got it.
only need
Yeah,
11
got it.
altogether. And so we give them 5, which
Got it.
makes 10.
Yeah.
And if you give a short one, it gets so confusing
Yes.
that you don't even produce a short one until you've got to the end. Here's Linda. Hello.
Hi, Linda.
So this is how we get started. Now you can see this is a very dangerous thing to walk about with. So I'm horribly strict.
Yes.
And as soon as we get the steaks in, they're not allowed to leave their chair with
Right,
this.
right.
Absolutely not allowed to.
No.
And if they get up and do anything, they are not allowed to carry this with them
No.
until there's one time when they can. But most of the time, and I'm very, very strict about it because I feel that it is a hazard.
It
And
is.
I don't have them sitting too close together so they don't pick each other. So there we are, we've got them all here. We've talked about baskets. We've got our steaks all ready in a little bundle, and we've given everybody 5 steaks. We've given everybody a styrofoam cup with 11 holes run.